Hey friends, so today I wanted to talk about something pretty quickly that might be able to help you. It's something I learned about years ago, just got into using it over the last year, and it's been an amazing tool to have in the toolbox. So I want to share my story, how this worked. I am not an expert at this, okay? So I'm going to have to guide you guys, or you're going to have to do your own research and find your own avenue to learn more. And I have to be a little bit scripted on how I talk about this on this channel, okay? So I'm going to use some code words, and hopefully you guys can read between the lines. So my story. First off, a friend on here that I met through tower gardening. She purchased a tower from me, has just like dove all into all the things natural, and she got into this and made this for me and sent it to me. This is like a lifetime supply, okay? This is amazing. And then I also had some from Azure Standard, and so I will link this one below if I can. I can definitely link Azure Standard. I don't think I can direct link to their products, but you can just go in and search and find it, because it's a private co-op. They're going to make you sign up first before you can order anything. But I will try to link it specifically below if I can. If not, I will just link Azure Standard, and you can search in the search bar there to find it. So how this came about, and what we're talking about is the color black and salve, okay? So just put those two together. The color black and salve that we put on our skin, right? So this has been around, I don't know, thousands of years, I'm guessing. I don't remember the exact story. I learned about this, it's been probably 15 years ago. And I just didn't have a need at the time, or I think I was more uncomfortable, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because I didn't really have a need, but also wasn't really sure and was a little fearful and just didn't quite understand what to do. But then the time came where I had to use this, or I decided it was time. And so I would say over 15 years ago, went to the dermatologist. They were checking different things, but I went specifically because I had a spot here that wouldn't heal. It was always like a sharp pain. You couldn't see it. It was tiny. But if I touched my head, if I put makeup on, if I put my oils on at night and I brushed past it, it was a sharp pain, like a wound. And so I knew something wasn't right. So I went there, I showed it to them, had them burn it and do the little burn thing on it, and it didn't take care of it. They actually, and I don't really know, this is where, you know, who knows, but actually where they burned ended up moving, and the spot stayed the same, because our skin moves as we age, right? And so I don't know if they missed it or what happened. So went back, said it's still there. It's still that sharp pain, like a wound that's not healing, even though, and you could kind of see it. It was tiny, like the end of a pin, but like a ballpoint pen, like super small. It wasn't actually a mark, but it just felt like an open wound that was a sharp pain. So went back and I had them remove it and like take a full biopsy of it, because it just would not heal. It had been a couple of years at that point. They did. I still have a scar and an indent from that, and I don't know if they missed it because they couldn't see it or what, but that scar was there. The problem never went away and actually was in a different location. It's almost like they missed it, like right on the edge. I don't really know. So I just let it go. Years went on, and about a year ago it started. It's always been there, like I could always tell, but it wasn't changing. It was just like, if I felt it, I knew it was there, but it wasn't getting worse, it wasn't getting bigger, it wasn't getting noticeable. About a year ago that changed, and I noticed it started to get where I could actually see where the problem was, and it was getting more sore, and I was having more pain when I touched up there. So that's when I decided, at the same time, and this is how the Lord works, my friend who I met on here through Tower Gardens, because she became a customer and we just have connected, got into this. And she was talking about this, and she offered to send me some of this. I had already had a stash too, for my emergency purposes, because I've known about this. I've had this one for years. easily 5 years. And it's because I just keep this kind of stuff just in case, you know, it's part of my preparedness mindedness. If we have it and something comes up and we don't have access to other things, at least we have something, right? Or this is what I chose instead of the other things. And so she sent me this one and I was like, awesome. So I decided to go ahead and use it on that spot. Had no idea what I was doing. She recommended go read all the stuff on the Facebook group. I went over there. I was like, ain't got time. Just was a lot of information. And so you can, I'm not gonna link it below, or maybe I will, I don't know, let me think about that. But you can go, because this needs to be something that you pursue personally and do your own research. And I don't wanna bombard that group with people who are not serious. And so I'm actually not gonna link it below. But if you go dive into this and do your research, you're going to find it. It's not hard to find. So I just kind of got the gist and went for it. And so I actually didn't even read the instructions until after the fact. I put a small dab, very small, thinking I was just going to kind of test it on that spot and let it go. It did burn right away, and then I texted my friend and was like, what is it supposed to look like? How much am I supposed to do? And then I read you're supposed to do like a lentil size and cover it for 48 hours. I didn't do any of that. I just put it on, let it sit there, and went about my day. So what happened to that spot, and this is what I learned after, is I put the tiniest amount. Like when they say lentil size, I went with like a black lentil size. I did the tiniest amount because I just wasn't sure, and I've seen pictures where it leaves big wounds on people as it's drawing things out, and this is on my face. So I didn't want to like do anything drastic. I just kind of wanted to test the waters. So put it on there, let it sit. It just kind of disappeared on its own. I didn't wash it off, I don't think, for like 24 hours until I took a shower again. And it started to react immediately. And so then I texted her and kind of asked some more questions and did a little more research. And so what I found out is that if there's something there, it reacts. If there's not, then your skin just gets a little bit red and then it goes back to normal. And so I put it on there. It reacted. I'll see if I can link photos in here of that. And it got big, like this big. So it grew, it got white, it got totally white, like it killed the skin and everything else. It's a weird white, almost like you burned that layer off. And again, I'll try and link photos. I think I have a few of those. And then it got woundy, and then it healed. I got a little scabby, like woundy, and then it healed. It was super fast. It was like 3 weeks max before it was completely back to normal. The white part and the reaction part was pretty quick, and then the scab, and then the healing, and we were done. So what I learned is that if there's something there, it does react. If there's not, then it just turns red. So I had another spot recently, the weird growth pop up out of nowhere. Just like basically went to camp with the children, so it could be parasitic, could be other things. I am going to go through the series of how I sort of test what needs to happen, and I put it on that. I started with caustic oils, thinking this new thing could be parasitic. Oregano, thyme, tea tree, caustic oils that are going to hit it hard if it's parasitic. That wasn't really making a difference. Citrus oils too are really helpful for that. So I decided to go with the salve route, and it didn't react. I used more. I covered the whole thing. I did the 48 hours with the Band-Aid. Took it off, no reaction other than just a little bit of redness on the skin. So completely different than the reaction up here, which that was really, and you know, we learn through doing, and it's why I wanted to share this story. So maybe you can learn through me doing in this story. That's what was really eye-opening. Like, this reacted in such a specific way, and I've seen images of how people have those reactions. Most of the other people I've seen, it's bigger, it's a bigger deal. It can take several weeks. You can get big wounds as it's pulling things from deep out. I've seen some amazing photos, stories about this. Mine, just whatever it was, happened to be pretty superficial. And then this other issue did not react. And so now I'm approaching this with, I've tried the caustic oils, I tried the big guns, right, to make sure it wasn't some sort of cellular situation that needed to be taken care of really quickly. And now I'm going to lean into a more soothing approach, like blue tansy, healing type things, to focus on healing in a natural, gentle way for this particular situation. That did not react. Now remember, this one, white, turned weird white, became a wound, was painful, scabbed over, regrew skin, healed. This one, put it on there much more than I put up here. I put a large amount because this thing is like this big, so I covered it, and no reaction at all. So pretty wild to see the two, because I've heard that, but to experience it firsthand was very cool. So this is gone, like for the first time in 15 years, at least 15 years. When I do this, I cannot find it. And it was so easy to find. All I had to do was do this and be like, oh, there it is. It was a pinprick of pain. And it's completely gone. Like, I don't have that pain at all. I cannot locate it. I could feel over the last year when it started getting a little bit bigger, I can actually feel it. I don't feel it. Gone. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Give you a tool for your toolbox. Do read up. You got to do your own research on this. Not an expert on this one at all. And I only wanted to plant the seed. This is something you do need to go do your research on and make decisions on if you want to have this as a tool in your toolbox. We personally don't tend to do checkups or things like that. We just don't. Like, if I needed something was going on, I would go to a naturopathic doctor, holistic doctor, to get some wisdom on that. But we will use things like the walk-in facility. I've gone to Emerge Ortho, which is like a walk-in clinic for orthopedics, which is pretty sweet that we have one of those. You guys know, oh, well, maybe don't, but I really did a number on my hand over a year and a half ago. And it was good to just have a place to put eyes on things. I also use PT for that. I have friends in PT, and I will often go to them first and say, you know, is this something serious? Do I need to go the next route to Emerge Ortho, get x-rays, or is this something that we can work on and isn't that serious? And so I've done that. So I kind of use these pathways for information. Then I can find the natural ways to support that. So in my hand, when I knew this was pretty intense damage, I went to Emerge Ortho to get the x-rays because I need to make sure my knuckle wasn't broken. And then when it wasn't, well, there were fractures, but then when it wasn't going to be something that needed like surgery, pins, it wasn't out of place, things like that, I did go to PT, kind of evaluate the situation, ended up at a hand specialist to get a second opinion at like month 4 because it was so damaged. I just needed to have more advice, and through that was able to handle it on my own, right? I didn't have to go to occupational therapy. I just went there, talked to them, learned what needs to happen in order to get at least hopefully some more mobility back, which I do have more mobility back. It's probably always going to be wrecked, but and painful, but right, using those tools, and then came home and did DIY'd it myself. That's how I operate. Same thing with walk-in clinics. If there's something going on, my daughter during the hurricane, something that she caught, something that just was a little bit, I thought I knew what it was, had ideas on how I wanted to handle it, but I wanted extra eyes on it just to make sure, because they just had this freaky nature side to it that was new to me, that I was not familiar with. And so I do like to have that safety net of like, okay, is this serious, or can I have a little space to try natural ways with what this situation is? All that to say, I may go to a dermatologist and have them look and point out anything of concern. Now that I have the tool in my toolbox, I'm not going to openly share what I'm doing, but I may go just put eyes on everything, and if there are areas of concern, then target those. I've also heard, and this might be what I do instead, and I'll probably do this instead, but I don't know about it fully, is I heard there's a body wash, and when you put it on, it will activate where there's areas, and so then you can also target different areas that way and kind of know what needs to be addressed. Again, I do not know much about that, but that's another option as well. So, this, an amazing tool to have in the toolbox. Solved a problem that even the modern systems were not solving for me. There was clearly something there. It's been there for years. Thankfully, it wasn't growing forever, and then when it did, this seems to, at this point, have taken care of it completely. So wanted to share that with you guys. Do your research, learn about this, but if you want an extra tool in that toolbox, highly recommend adding this to your toolbox. And don't be fearful of it. That is one thing that kept me from doing it. I actually bought this one, like I said, like 5 years ago, to have in our home apothecary for emergencies, but I actually bought it to do that spot and never did it because I was just a little fearful and unsure and didn't understand. And then when my friend was bold enough to dive all in and make a bunch and get involved, that was just the Lord giving that nudge of like, yeah, this is a tool we can use. And I felt confirmation on that and went for it, and so glad I did. I will link what I can below. Drop your comments. Let me know if you've had an experience with this, and thanks for watching, guys. Have a blessed day. I'll see you guys on the next video.